is wide open. I can see this guy. Then he starts shooting his miniguns. Man, that thing starts rotating. I can see this. You can't hear it, because of the main rotor. You can hear, but you can see all this like lasers, shooting his me. And then I can see he starts shooting his rockets, and I could actually follow the rockets hitting the ground, exploding, and that one. So.
Now, did these Dustoff helos, did they have a door gunner?
No.
Okay.
No. We had like when they said, those of helicopters, they had their unarmed. What they mean, there's no mounted M16 machine guns on them. But of course, we carry weapons ourselves.
Okay.
I mean, I carry an M16, the medic carry an X-16. The pilots also carry they had a rifle next to their seats, and we all carry a 38 Colt with a holster.
In any of the operations that you were on, did you ever, use your M16 kind of as a door gunner?
Well, I use the M16, but shooting it really at nothing. I know some of the other crew chiefs and medics, they were in a position where they actually, when they went in, and they actually even saw some of the enemy shooting at them, and they shot back. To me, when I used my M16, I was just shooting at trees and it really nothing. And
suppressing fire.
Yeah, suppressing fire. Yeah, because when we went to when we knew it was going to be a hot mission, what's called a hot mission, and it was known that the enemy, the Viet Cong was, I mean, it was in a very insecure area, and they were like surrounded by Viet Cong or NVA. Well, then they assigned two Cobras. Two Cobra helicopters, so I can explain to you the one mission that I had with the Cobras. You want to hear about that mission?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I think this mission was somewhere in, let me see, I had been at crew chief for maybe a couple of months. Oh no, it was in October. So October the 12th. I even remember the day. October 12th. 1972, and we got a call, a convoy of Cambodian soldiers in American special forces. They got ambushed. So and there was a lot of activity, a lot of enemy fire. They had a lot of casualties. Both KIA and wounded. So we just got our M16, and our also with our pistols, and we ran to the helicopter, and took off, and the pilot was going at the maximum airspeed, I think it was close to 120 knots. I mean, you could feel it. I mean, when the troops are going at the top speed, that helicopter shakes up and down. I mean, you can feel it like. So anyway, we're flying there. We already know it's going to be hot. We already know there's enemy there. And of course, I'm thinking on the way to the mission, that's when you do the thinking. And I'm thinking, well, I wonder what's waiting for us there. And also the condition of the wounded. I could never get used to the wounded, the condition, to see people with bad wounds and pain, So I think we flew maybe half an hour, maybe less. Can't remember exactly the time. So we arrived in the area before the Cobras. So we started going on, on circles, and they were, and below they were saying, I said, you guys, these people are dying. So you guys got it. These people are dying. And the pilots, they could communicate with the Cobras, so we couldn't see each other. So the AC said, no, we got to go down for these people. And we said, no, let's go. We didn't hesitate. None of us, the medic or the other part, we didn't hesitate. Let's just go down and get these people, So as we were beginning to begin our descent, the Cobras were able to see us visually. So I mean, these things are fast. So they were flanking us within. I mean, they were right next to us within a minute or so. And of course, I mean, here we had a Cobra on the right side, a Cobra on the left side, escorting us. I mean, that was the first time. That was my first experience with that one, and here we are. This. I mean, they were so close to us. I could see the pilots' heads, and I could see, I mean, they were like, we are all three of us are coming down, descending, and then as we're descending, then the Cobra on my right, because there's no doors, there's no cargo doors. I'm sitting there and it's wide open. I can see this guy. Then he starts shooting his miniguns. Man, that thing starts rotating. I can see this you can't hear it, because of the main rotor, you can hear, but you can see all this like lasers, shooting his me. And then I can see he starts shooting his rockets. And I could actually follow the rockets hitting the ground, exploding, and that one. So, and I can see on the other side, he's also shooting. And then he banks to the right, but on my side, he runs to the right and drops. And the other Cobra banks to the left and drops. So now what we do, we get into this area and we started spiraling down. I mean, fast. And I tell you, this chopper is, it's like almost like a 90-degree, and I'm there, I'm sitting on the floor. I do have a seat belt that you could sell, and here is space at the bottom. All I could see was just vegetation. I mean, I can feel the centrifugal force just pulling me down hard with a heavy armor. I mean, you can really feel it just pulling you down in the main rotor. I mean, that chopper's coming down fast. The main rotor is cutting that air, and it's making such this loud clap that it hurt my eardrums, and so we're dropping, and then once we get to treetop level, then we level off, because that's the best way to approach an LZ, because you don't want the enemy. I mean, that makes it difficult for the enemy to doesn't give you much time to shoot at you. I mean, we fly right above the trees. So here we are, and then there's no more thinking. There's no more thinking. So it's all just acting up, just reaction and instincts, and the adrenaline is very high. Not fear. Surprisingly, there's something about when you're going to save lives and people are, are waiting for you to pull them out of a bad situation. That there's something about human nature that it's not the fear, it's the adrenaline you feel, and also for me, being 19 years old and being there and seeing the Cobras and all that, there's a certain excitement about that too. I mean, it's like wow, this is the real thing. I mean, it's like. So there we are. So when we found the opening, we find it where the people were, soldiers, and we landed. So we land. There's dust all over the place, and then we see two soldiers, American soldiers, running to a helicopter to my side, and they were. I mean, you could see it was chaotic. You could see soldiers running, and there's dust all over the place. And like I said, these two soldiers came and they were saying something. I couldn't understand what they were saying, and they were screaming. And our main rotor's like making all this noise, and there's radio communication. And one thing that I did that you're not supposed to do, out of instinct, you're never supposed. When you go on a mission and you land, you get out of the helicopter, you put your feet on the ground, but you stay with your intercom connected, and you stay in your helicopter, and the medic stays on his side. So when they bring the wounded, you bring him in, just pull him in. Okay, and once you pull him in, you got everything on, but then just get the hell out of there as quick as you can. But this time, for some reason, that I don't know why, but somehow in my mind I thought he needed my help, and I didn't say anything. I disconnected my intercom, and I started running with this American soldier. And so as I was running, then I could see the ground was littered with dead Cambodian soldiers. And then I saw this deuce and a half with a 50 caliber machine gun on top. and with a soldier manning the machine gun, and there was and I noticed there was the truck was riddled with bullet holes, and so there I'm running, I'm jumping over dead soldiers, and I'm thinking, well, he's taking me against to the one who's wounded, and some of these soldiers, they look very, very young. So then we found this. We grabbed this wounded soldier, and we put him on a stretcher, and we start running back to the helicopter. Well, normally, like, we take stretchers and put them into the chopper like this. We never go out. And so what I did, instead of my standing in front and carrying the stretcher behind me, I grabbed the stretcher and I was running back, with my backwards. And boy, my legs were giving up. My legs were giving up. We were going so fast. Well, anyway, by the time I reached our helicopter, they already had it pretty packed with the wounded. And I could see the medic he was not happy, because I had left. And, he was a very experienced medic. I think that he was on his third tour. He was a very experienced medic. He really knows his job better than anybody else, and he was not happy with me because, he needed my help. But anyway, that's what I did, so I hooked up, and it was filled with mostly Cambodian soldiers. They were, I remember there was one American, he looked like he was like in his middle 20s, but he looked scared. He was white. I could see like he had seen the devil himself, and we had room for one more body, but of course we could not take the dead, but there was a dead American, so we had to take him. Okay, so they brought him in, and we put him and we, not with a stretcher, they put him in, so we had to put him right in front of me and the medic, and the medic was treating the wounded. So and then we took off just took off like that out of hell, and we had some very badly wounded soldiers, and there was one that had a bullet hole in his leg, and he was with a lot of pain. But there was one, I guess the one that had picked up, that I went to help the soldier to pick up. He looked like he was been dipped in a bucket of blood, and then the medic asked him. He said, "No, he's gone. That's it. Nothing we can do for him." He tells the pilot, when we lose patients, he lets the pilot, okay, we lost one, we lost another one, or I'm doing this. They want to know what's going on, because they got to tell the hospital what we're bringing in as much as they can, so that they're prepared. Well, anyway, we had like 3 layers of stretchers full, and the one in the middle was the one that was supposed to have been dead, and then I'm helping the medic, with the IV bottle, whatever he tells me, bandages, do this. That's my job. It's a crew chief I maintain. Once I'm in the air, either I'm a door gunner with my M16 or I'm helping the medic. I don't know anything about first aid or whatever. I just do whatever the medic tells me to do. But anyway, so we're flying, and then all of a sudden, this guy was supposed to be dead, and he starts having convulsions. So like, go like, oh, he's alive. He starts throwing up, and there's chunks as big as meatballs, start throwing up all this stuff from us. It's like, that was the stuff that really, like, I could never get used to it, because he apparently he blew his guts out, and he was just throwing up chunks of his inner parts, and I could see then the dead American, I look at him, and he was, right in front of me, and I see his face, he had a hole in his front head right up his side, had another hole in his stomach, and he wasn't bleeding much. But I thought, it's like on the way back, and I'm thinking, this young, I want to say kid, he was probably about 25 years. He was special forces, and he was dead. And I started thinking, boy, but like, his parents, you know, it came to my mind, you know, just one of those things just came to my mind. I'm thinking about his parents when they hear that his son is dead, you know, but anyway, that was just part of it. And so in going back, you know, we got to Saigon. We delivered them to Saigon. You know, they pulled them all out, and then flew back to Long Binh. In the helicopter there was just blood all over the floor. We had to hose it down, and then that's when they told me, says, you know, they said, look, you know, gas, you know, the medic said, yeah, I'm sorry, you know, I was hard on you, you know, but you know, I was just like, well, these people were coming in, you were not there, you know, and well, I went, you know, to help this guy, and one of the pilots told me, says, you know, look, I know you meant well, but look, if we would have been taking mortars, we would have left you behind. He said, because we can't lose the whole aircraft for one guy. He says, yeah, no, and well, of course I understood that. I understood that even before that. It's just something that I did from instinct, and which I never did again, you know.